All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. I am so glad that you all are here. We are going to learn today. For anybody new here, hi, I am Maggie, your substitute teacher. I would like to welcome you to yet another struggle cooking class where I am not a professional chef, nor am I a professional YouTuber. I am just a mom. That's why I was late, getting these kids running around. I am just a mom and a home cooker. That's what they used to call me when they were little. And I love sharing my love of food on my health and wellness journey with you all. I am your substitute teacher because I usually cook sugar-free, dairy-free, and gluten-free, which means I usually cook with sugar substitutes, dairy substitutes, and gluten substitutes. However, we are using a full dairy recipe today, y'all. We are going to make butter. I am so excited. I have never made butter before. I have a very special guest in the house with me. So you all come on in. I'll bring you up on the screen if you want to announce yourself, but we are going to get right to it. Absolutely. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring you all none other than Mr. Richard Boggs. As you can see there. Hey, Richard.
Hello, welcome to the kitchen.
Yes, we are in the kitchen. So Richard and I have known each other, gosh, almost 25 years, met
Oh,
at church. Okay. Not a day older than 25, right? Exactly. But we both have a love of cooking. Richard also has a YouTube channel. He is an independent, pampered chef consultant. You all have seen him in the chat. He has been active in giving us tips and advice. And today he is going to teach us how to make butter from one ingredient, heavy whipping cream. But in addition to all of that, Richard is an Emmy nominated stylist. Why don't you please introduce yourself, Richard?
well, I'm glad you're here in my kitchen tonight also. We
Mm-hmm.
talked earlier, we were so excited because we've known each other, we have a history. And even when you lived in a different state, we were on each other's Facebook page and periodically we would send each other a shout out. And
Mm-hmm.
I've always had such a warm spot in my heart for you because, as I said, your smile lights up a screen. And when you got into doing your cooking thing online was just about the same time that I launched my YouTube channel. And I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do really my YouTube channel. I didn't want to teach people how to make pasta from scratch. I wanted to
Right.
teach people how to do food 101, basically. In other words, how
Mm-hmm.
to use a citrus press, how to use your mixer. Because I always say people are challenged in their kitchen because they're afraid of their kitchen. I would say it's
Ooh.
your kitchen, you own it, you do what you have to do. But I really wanted to educate people, and I hate to say this just simply, but I
Mhm.
just wanted to educate them that the kitchen's not someplace you should be afraid of.
Agreed. Agreed. So I am super excited. So again, you all can check him out on YouTube. You can check him out on Instagram. And I've linked his Cash App in the banner and in the description, plus the link to his Pampered Chef page. We're going to be talking about the products that he uses, some of the products that I use. But today I am the student. Richard is the teacher. So I see you have your mixer. I have a mixer here. I always start by just wiping my counters and washing my hands, and I'm going to get my uniform on. So I came across this video on your page, your YouTube channel, and it's Richard Boggs. Y'all see his name there. And he was making homemade butter. And I said, that's a thing? Of course, y'all. And so I was like, okay, I want to learn how to make it this time of year where we're going to be doing like gift exchanges and going to people's homes for events. A nice homemade gift can be very thoughtful. And we're going to start with the basics, and then Richard's going to tell us all about it. So while I get myself cleaned up, wash hands, and get my apron on, can you tell us about butter, about making butter, why it's good, besides the fact that we just love it? And I'm going to mute.
Well, butter is something, I think it's the basis of cooking because there's three things. I call it the trilogy myself. People sometimes call other things the trilogy of cooking. But I say butter, and olive oil, and onions. Those are my two go-to all the time when you're cooking. Um, and butter is the easiest thing to do. I'll tell a funny little side story. My doctor was talking to me about making oat milk, and maybe someday we'll make oat milk together. Um, but he said, "Oh, you can do it." And then he turned and looked at me and said, Laura Ingalls, you live on the prairie. He said, I see you on your Facebook page making butter. I know you can do it. But butter is the simplest thing. And you know what? Butter is actually not bad for you. Unless you have, and I do have, it's really funny. I have a dairy allergy, but I'm only allergic to dairy in a certain lineup. I'm not allergic to cheese. I'm not allergic to butter. I'm allergic to whole milk. And whatever is in whole milk at the time that it's whole milk, I'm allergic to. I mean, my belly looks like I'm 9 months pregnant. But I can eat certain ice creams. I can eat butter until it's coming out of my ears. But butter's a good for you kind of fat too, and so easy to make. And if you're like me, I'll go into the grocery store and I'll pick up something and I look at the ingredients on the inside of it, and it's all chemicals. I always say, if you can't pronounce it, you don't need to eat it. And also too, that's like with veg. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's a great point. You don't need 30-something chemicals for popcorn, right?
Exactly. It's sort of like another cook was telling me. He said he buys vegetables frozen. And, you know, we grew up in a time where people said, oh, frozen, who would eat vegetables frozen? Well,
Yeah.
If you pick up a can of vegetables, if you're not buying them at a farmer's market or from some place that you can trust, you pick up a can of vegetables, you would think that can would say corn.
Mm-hmm.
But it says corn, sodium, blah, blah, blah. It has 15 things. But if you pick up a bag of frozen vegetables, the bag says corn.
That's true.
So I think that's the same way with butter. You know, it's sort of like honey. I always say steer clear of honey that's in a squeeze bottle the shape of a bear.
Yeah.
And with butter, if it just doesn't say milk on the back of it, steer clear from it. And
that's
also
really
too
good to know.
Yeah, and also too, I always say with butter too, if it comes in a bucket, it's not butter.
Those are some really good tips, Richard. I appreciate you saying that. I mean, I always say on my channel, I'm not the food police, but yeah, some things should just be that simple ingredient. And that's one of the things I love about this recipe, because you said on your channel, all it is heavy whipping cream. So I'm really excited to give this a try. Christina says that she is sensitive to lactose, so it's tough. I don't know if there's lactose in butter. I don't usually use cow dairy, but I am excited to use this because I love butter too. So,
you know, I would say that you kind of have to do like I did myself. I kind of experimented to find out where the process I was allergic to dairy. Because sometimes, especially if you're going to, and I'm not going to get into the medical part of it, but if you're going to traditional doctors, sometimes, or allergists, they'll just say, oh, you're allergic to dairy. Well, they would tell me I'm allergic to dairy, but I can eat cheese till it's coming out of my ears. If this was whole milk, I'm allergic to at the step that whole milk is in. I'm not allergic to the other steps when you break it down and it becomes butter and buttermilk. I'm not allergic to that part. So you kind of have to get in there and kind of find where you're allergic, or I'll say where your allergies lay.
I love it. So we are going to get started. I have this heavy whipping cream, and the only thing you told me to do is get a big container and set it out. So this has been out since morning. I took it out of the fridge. It is room temperature. Can you tell us why that's important?
Well, you want it to be room temperature because the molecules will separate easier. If it's too cold, the molecules are tight and they won't burst forth. Because when you're making milk, you've heard separating the curd from the whey. You're actually just separating the fat from what ends up being buttermilk. And so the room temperature, you can do it cold. I'll tell you what I did this afternoon because we were out walking the dog and enjoying this beautiful weather in Florida. And I went, oh no, I forgot the heavy whipping cream in the refrigerator. I came home and set it outside in the sun.
That's okay?
Yeah.
I did not know that. So we are going to take one ingredient, heavy whipping cream, and we are going to make two ingredients from it. We're going to make butter and we're going to make buttermilk. I don't usually use or buy buttermilk, but you can buy it in the grocery store for certain recipes. So I'm excited. This is going to be a 2-for-1 kind of cooking
It,
class.
it will
Okay.
be because you can use your buttermilk when you see that it's separated. You can use your buttermilk in cakes, biscuits, anything that you put dairy into. You know,
Ah,
often I'll be making something. I was making cornbread the other day, and I didn't have milk, but I had sour cream. It's the fat that you're doing. So a lot of people, that's learning your kitchen. Learn when you can replace one, because that's what it is. It's the fat. You're replacing one fat for another fat. So if you're in the middle of a recipe and you realize that you don't have, you're baking a cake and you don't have whole milk to put in a cake, if the cake calls for it, you can always add your buttermilk. It just makes it richer.
hmm,
I'm excited
okay.
for you.
I'm excited. So tell me what to do. Thank you all so much for being here. I see the hearts and the likes. You can definitely check out Richard and follow him on his pages. But I am ready to get cooking if this is cooking.
I'll start first. What device you use? I use my Pampered Chef Deluxe stand mixer. It's
Okay.
fairly new. I love it. It's the Cadillac of mixers because it has the preset speeds on it. So it makes it kind of easy. I can put this on a whip and walk away. And not
Mm.
all mixers have that availability, but I do like that. So let's get started. Open up your one ingredient.
Yes. And I am using the KitchenAid. This is just the classic KitchenAid stand mixer. And
And
Richard
I
told
still
me
have one of those also.
yes. And Richard told me that we need the whisk. Okay. So it's literally just the mixer. We've got the bowl here. Everything is room temperature. I didn't have to put the bowl in the fridge or freezer or anything. So I'm going to open up this heavy whipping cream. If people don't have a stand mixer, Richard, could they do this with like an old fashioned hand mixer?
You know what? Actually, since you're a teacher, I'll tell you a little fun story. I have a client who's a teacher who she teaches her kids how to make buttermilk with a marble and a mason jar. It's anything that will agitate the cell or the molecule because that's what you're doing. You're agitating the molecule and you're separating the fat from, say the curd from the whey. You're separating the fat from the whey. So it's separating the fat out of the milk. So you could do
That
this with a
fast.
technically, if you're a teacher like she does, she teaches the kids. They go home, they shake for 15 minutes with a marble in a mason jar, and it's amazing how easy this is to make.
You know,
So
I
you
love that. We love modern technology, but when you think about the old ways and how stuff has been made, a lot of us are mothers or grandmothers. Exactly. Churning butter. We've got
yeah,
technology, but you could absolutely, it makes me think of sometimes I make ice cream, in the Ziploc bag with the rock salt. So it's definitely doable. All right. So I've opened
exactly.
my heavy
Because you
whipping
know
cream.
what? Back in Laura Ingalls' period, back in the Little House on the Prairie days, they didn't have a KitchenAid or they didn't have a deluxe stand mixer. So they either made it in a mason jar or did the old plunger. And still yet, it's just the agitation of the molecule. And it's
That is
that
so
easy.
awesome. I have learned something today. Who knew that? Has anybody in the chat ever made your own butter? Or if this is new to you, you can put a butter emoji in the chat. Okay, so I have my heavy whipping cream. This is just Sprouts store brand. And so what do I do now?
Pour it into your mixer.
Okay, pour all of it, right?
You got to pour all of it.
Okay, and just so everybody can see, this is a 32 ounce. This is a 1 quart heavy whipping cream. And when I asked Richard which one to get, he said get the big one. Why is it that we need the large container as opposed to?
Because the volume of that, when you separate the two items, when you separate the buttermilk out of the fat, it's going to change the volume that you have.
Okay, since we're separating out that liquid.
And I'm telling another little secret. And like I said, I love the kitchen, so I do all kinds of little hidden secrets. Something I sometimes do is I take my stainless steel bowl before I use it. As I'm washing it, I run it under really warm water.
Oh,
Because, Yeah, because therefore you're still helping the molecules separate.
Oh, okay.
But
Good to know.
that's something you don't have to do. I sometimes do, like in the dead of winter, this stainless steel can be cold. Actually, it's cold right now. It can be cold in the winter, so I will run it under hot water when I'm making milk or when I'm
Okay.
making butter.
So this is my first time. This usually stays out on the counter, so everything is room temperature. We got 32 ounces of heavy whipping cream inside the bowl.
Put it on, turn it on slow in the beginning.
Okay, so I'm gonna lower it
That's
down.
what I actually do love about the settings on the Pampered Chef Deluxe Stand Mixer is it automatically starts out slow, so you're never going to splash yourself in something.
That would be a bad thing. Okay, so this one goes from 0 to 10. So I think I have it on 1 right now. Should I just slowly start going faster? Or
yeah, you could turn it up just a little, especially since your butter's been at room temperature.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to be amazed because also too. Wait! I forgot to mention this. Guess what you make before you make butter?
I have no idea.
Whipped cream.
I'm gonna love that. Can I have some of it?
You can. Actually, I'll say this, my dog, I was talking about taking my little doggy out for her afternoon stroll. We stopped by a very popular coffee shop, and she gets what's called a puppy cup, and she eats whipped cream every day.
Dogs
and a lot
can
of
have
and I do like because that particular store does make whipping cream, or they make their whipped cream. It's in a canister and make it, so it's not store-bought chemical. So I know my dog's also eating some good dairy too.
oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna turn
Maggie, you can go ahead and turn your mixer up just a little bit.
Yeah, so I love that. So yeah, when we're going from heavy whipping cream to actual whipped cream, are we just putting air into it, or has anything like chemically changed?
At that time, it's like a combination of you are putting air into it, and actually a little of the molecules are already starting to separate. And if you were making whipped cream at that time, you could stop. If you're making whipped cream for your dessert at dinner, you could go ahead and stop, and you could fold in some powdered sugar.
Oh, that sounds good. I think I'm gonna turn it up another little notch. Keep going, right? Is it gonna go all the way to high? Should I go up to high? Okay, so let me go ahead and turn it all the way up.
You will have to gauge that because you're in Georgia and I'm in Florida. You'll have to see when it starts separating because it gets splashy. I have a guard on mine. I don't know if you've got a guard, but even with a guard, it splashes. So if you don't, you take your tea towel, my soiled tea towel that I use for all my splashing, and just cover your when it gets to the splashing part.
Okay, that's a really good tip. That's a great tip for other things you use in the kitchen that can be kind of splashy. So
yeah.
I am starting to see it's like frothy and foamy, a little thicker on the top. Turn it up some more.
Turn it up some more. Crank it up.
Crank it up. All right.
No, not too fast.
You were right about the splashing, y'all.
You know what? Actually, why don't you turn it down 1 notch, and then you can go back up to that.
Okay, yeah, it did splatter a little bit, so I see your point. So while it's still very liquid, go up slowly, and then as it thickens, turn up, right?
Right.
Yes, Geneva, we have a guest. For those of y'all coming in, this is Richard Boggs. I've known him for a long time, and he is teaching us how to make butter. We have 1 ingredient, heavy whipping cream. So we just put 32 ounces of heavy whipping cream inside the mixer, and I have it on almost high. And we did set that out at room temperature, and we're waiting for it to turn into whipped cream. So I do have a couple of questions. I know you talked about your stand mixer. Looks like you've already got something in it. What else do you have over there that's good for our home cookers made by Pampered Chef?
Well, you know what? I was using this. It was funny because I had some ice water in this, and we have a fabulous deluxe blender. It's a cooking blender, and it actually, the blade heats up versus the food, the friction heating the food. So it actually leaves the molecule of the food in a little better integrity. But this is actually goes onto an attachment onto the top of it, and I use this every morning to make shakes.
Oh, I
But
love
But you know what? Also, too, I will say that Pampered Chef we have a fabulous pantry, and we'll talk. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put that aside because I want to talk about that later because I know you want to ask me about additives.
that. Yes.
But
What should and should not be in the butter.
right, we have a beautiful coated knife set that comes with 6 in the set. And I'll put this up here, and it comes with. I tell everyone that buys these, they're sharp.
Okay.
Trust me, they're sharp.
Okay.
But 6 come in a set, and they're absolutely beautiful. They're coated, and I pick up these 2 a couple times a day, and they are the most beautiful. And knives can be crazy expensive. I have gone to the professional restaurant supply stores and looked at knives, and I've seen knives that have been $1,500. And I would challenge and say that this knife cuts as well as a $1,500 knife. It's balanced. Going once, going twice. It's balanced. It fits into the hand so well. And and I'm always cooking. I cook something, cut something every single day. And to feel the balance in your hand, and we've all had those knives that are such heavy steel that they are off weight, they're counterclock. You feel like it's like not even fitting your hand well. I will say this: I was so pleased when I got these because I was just in the mood to get a new set of knives. And it's funny because even the bread knife, because sometimes you use a bread knife and it's like it drags and pulls all your bread apart. Not this knife. This knife works like glass through your bread. And you know what? And you know what? And the funny thing is these coated knife sets, they are. We talked about the price. Guess how much we even brought these down in price this year. These are only $99. So that's 1/10 of the price that you would pay for a commercial. And I love
I am absolutely going to get those. I am looking at my whipped cream. I don't know if you all can see it's getting kind of feathery on the top.
Yeah.
So it's definitely creamy. I was just muting while you were talking so everybody could hear you. But what is the name of that knife set? And Mona or Templa Sounds, maybe we can drop it in the chat because Richard's Pampered Chef website is in the description. But let us know what it's called.
It's just a coated knife set, and I'll even make it easier. It's item 100-837, 100-837. You can get them now for $99. Easy breezy.
Gosh, it's flattering me.
Or even better than that, if someone who's watching tonight wanted to book a party, I'll tell you what, if you've ever gotten Pampered Chef in your kitchen, I don't even have to tell you how good our products are. They can always book a party. You could never know you could get a stand mixer like this. I've had some parties recently that I'm amazed at my host, how their parties have done so well that they've taken home stuff at a lesser price than I can as a consultant.
Oh my goodness. Hold on, we got an emergency.
You got some splashing. You got some splashing. 1 out of 12, 1 out of 12.
Is that
Cover it with your tea towel. Turn your speed down just a tiny bit.
Oh my gosh, y'all. I don't know if you all can see. Like, it is flattering me, but at first we turned it into whipped cream, and it was at whipped cream for maybe like 2 minutes. Let me turn it down a little bit more. But now it's almost like a porridge kind of texture. And wow. Now, I can see the chunks in there.
Do you have a spatula close to you?
Yes.
Turn your mixer off and actually put your spatula down there. Oh, look at it. You're already butter.
Oh my gosh.
Ta-da!
Wow.
Is that not amazing?
This is amazing. So I have this like chunky stuff.
That is butter.
And then the liquid is the buttermilk.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, let me talk you through this. You know,
Okay.
with the magic of television, we both had butter at the same time.
Okay.
So what you want to do is, when your butter is stuck into your whisk, just simply push it out. And it's going to be
Okay.
chunky like this.
Okay.
Because as soon as you see it, you're going to recognize you've made butter.
Okay.
Oh, I just knocked my whisk off, which is fine. So, get as much as you can off of here.
Okay.
And I tell you the truth, sometimes this is when I taste it.
I want to taste it. What is it supposed to taste like? We didn't put anything in it.
I'm just slinging butter all over my kitchen.
I'm telling you, my counter, it's on me. It's everywhere.
Oh. At this point, you created non-salted butter.
Okay. I've always wondered about that, Richard. You know, like, I'm not much of a baker. I am a cooker, not a baker. Boys to call me. They're teenagers now, but it's stuck. And I always see like unsalted butter in recipes, and I'm always like, but why? I like salt. Is there a reason you would want unsalted butter?
You know what? There are sometimes recipes do ask for you not to use salted butter. If I use unsalted butter in something I'm cooking, I typically have to add salt to it.
Yeah.
But if a recipe calls for salt and it just says butter and you've used salted butter,
yeah,
if you're using salted butter, don't put salt in it until you taste it closer to your finished product, because if not, you'll end up with too much sodium in your whatever you make it.
Okay. So just so you all can see here, we have like this butter, and let me change our view so everybody can see. So you all can see here, it literally looks like a big chunk of something floating inside the buttermilk, and all it was whipping cream. So is it okay for me to taste it?
I'm going to, excuse me for just a second.
Absolutely. I'm going to wipe up here because it is a little messy, y'all. So the tip to have the tea towel or the splash guard, because once that butter comes in there and starts moving around, it does splash up a little bit. But if we can make our own butter instead of spending money.
You know, right. You know what? And you've made it yourself. You know what you're eating.
Exactly.
You're not eating, chemicals that a company's, poisoning you with. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. So we have our butter.
Okay.
And our milk. So what I'm going to suggest doing is use your tea towel, and if you have something, I love mason jars. I really do, because I love glass. I'll take a mason jar quite often that I have left in. I'll put this in the refrigerator. Honest to goodness truth, you will use this. You think you won't, but you will, because people go, ooh, buttermilk. I think of like my granddaddy who drank buttermilk and cornbread, and as a kid, I was like, who in the world would want to drink that? It's such a good thing, even in soups. Yep, you got it. If you have a dairy soup that's got a cream base, you could put your buttermilk in that.
So because I can use just like I would use any other butter to cook with, to put on toast, to put in my bulletproof coffee, anything.
Yeah. You could even put it in your tea.
You mentioned that, putting butter in tea, and I have some tea here.
You've been to England lately.
I have. Oh, like the clotted cream?
Uh-huh.
All right, y'all, I've got to taste this and see if it tastes like butter, okay?
Of course it will. It's butter.
It tastes like butter without salt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
so
here
what we'll do is take a spatula, and you can do this. I've done it in my video. I did it at the sink because we had multiple camera setups, and we actually shot this in the sink. But today I have one camera, so we're going to improvise. So
okay.
Let me actually move my stand mixer over just a little. This stand mixer I'm in love with. So take first of all, take the excess that you already have, kind of take your spatula and smash it together.
Okay.
And go ahead and take your excess here. Here's my mason jar. For the time being, you can just do it into a bowl if you want to. So take that, smash all your loose pieces into this clump that you've got here. Pour off, and don't worry if you've got some milk pieces in it or some butter pieces in it, because hello, it's called buttermilk.
Yep, just got a little flap of butter in there. I'll get a spoon and get it out. But we have this made, just so you all know, I'm looking at this container, and
wow,
I think this is 16 ounces. Yes. So
and if you want
just
to,
so you all know.
If you wanted to, you could just drink this. I mean, some people, you know, I've got some country family. I celebrate country cooking. I lived in Georgia for 26 years.
Shout out to
But
the South.
You could do cornbread in this if you wanted to. If you wanted to, you can mix cereal with it. It's all up to you. Don't waste this product. But you're not finished. But you're not finished with it though. Now take your butter and smash it as hard as you can smash it. This is sometimes when I take it to the sink and actually squeeze it with my hand. You could also do it in a cheesecloth if you wanted to.
Okay.
But just smash it, and you'll see there's additional butter or there's additional milk coming out of it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Pour that off. You're going to do this several times and flip your butter. Flip it to another side.
Okay.
Then just continue to smash, smash, pour the excess off. Because you want to get as much of this buttermilk out of your butter as possible, because it will give your butter a better longevity.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
If you leave too much milk in it, it will sour on you.
And we definitely don't want that after all this whipping. So just so you all know, we started with a 32 ounce of heavy whipping cream. This is a 12 ounce. This is filled up with buttermilk. And then I'm going to squeeze. I think I want to get in here with my hands. I'm going to squeeze it, and I'm going to pour the excess in here, because I think I'm going to try.
I just didn't even know my own strength, and I just broke my spatula.
Oh, no. Okay.
So you just continue to smash, and you'll be surprised if you can see how much more you get out of it. You want to get as much as you want. Take it and twirl it around again, and just continue to smash it. We said off the air, I said this was like doing something. I said I wouldn't say it on air.
Okay.
But
so we really need to get in here.
You'll see the butter is releasing more milk. Just continue to squeeze it, because you can see down in there how much more is still coming out of it.
Okay. I'm not that strong. So let's see. Let's get this big old plop of butter out. Mine still looks a little bit shiny and a little bit wet. So I've got some more liquid in there. Let's get all that buttermilk out. And then I'm gonna get in here. Oh my gosh, y'all. And it feels so good in the hands. Like it's this much butter we just made, but I'm gonna just continue to squeeze. I don't know if y'all can see, like it's still dripping out.
And you could actually step to the sink and run cold water over that and just rinse that off at that part too. But just squeeze it and squeeze it. I've done that many times. I'm like, oh my God, I'm covered with butter.
Oh, I know. I feel it all over my hands. Oh my gosh, y'all. I'm washing my hands, but they're still covered in butter. But I want to get this right. I want to get all this liquid up out of here so I can have more solid butter. So I got my spatula, and he said just keep pressing it and getting that liquid out.
You know, I guess because my dog has decided that she wants to come in, because my dog thinks if I'm in the kitchen making something, that manna is going to fall from the heavens.
Oh yeah, they love the snacks. Oh.
And she does. I do allow her to have butter. And when I make homemade butter, because it's good for her.
Oh my gosh. So tell us about that. Like, why do people think butter is bad for you? I know when we started, you said, is it the butter or the fake butter?
we are from, the 60s and the 70s, and there are so many things that, I hate to say this, the medical team started saying, well, this is bad for you, that's bad for you. Like they used to say eggs are awful for you. Now they're like, eggs are good for you.
Yeah.
You know what? I always say if the good Lord put it on the earth and it's natural, there's something to be said.
I love that. God made dirt, dirt don't hurt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I'm just all this.
at any rate, where are you in your butter?
Well, I feel like, when I move the spatula around, I have a little bit like of, it's not pooling the liquid. I mean, I got a nice big clump of it. It's still a little bit shiny. I don't know. Is that okay? Or is it supposed to be like?
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you have a wider spatula?
I do. Yeah.
Step to a wider spatula.
All right. Let me give this a wash. And I think I'm going to get a cheesecloth like you said.
Yeah, because you can squeeze that down with a cheesecloth and squeeze every single bit of it down. But
I think I'm going to do that. What's the difference between a cheesecloth and a tea towel?
The sad thing is a lot of tea towels are treated with chemicals, and most linen that you use for cooking is a natural product. And I don't know what country this tea towels come from and what kind of dye they used in it, and so I choose not to necessarily use that on food.
You're right. The bigger spatula, just kind of pressing it up on the side, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I love how soft this butter is.
Oh yeah.
What do you say about soft butter versus refrigerator butter?
Well, that's a funny thing you brought that up, because you don't have to keep butter in the refrigerator. That's a big misconception that a lot of people think you have to keep butter in the refrigerator. And you ask, Richard, well, how do you not keep butter in the refrigerator?
They sell it in the refrigerator, but maybe because it's not just butter.
A product that's out there that's been around for a long, long time. I wish Peppered Chef made one, because I would truly buy one from our company. And it's a butter bell.
Yes, I have
And
something
a butter
like that.
bell, what I do with my butter bell, and they make all kinds of styles, but it's all basically the same thing. And I'll show you when we finish with this butter how to assemble this. Because what the secret is keeping clean, fresh, chilled water in this. And you put butter in this part and it emerges down into it. It doesn't allow it to grow any of the bad stuff that if you're just on the counter. And if you change this water out, actually a little secret I do is this particular one has a line in here. I fill it up to that line with water. I put it in the freezer for about a half an hour, so it's super cold and the ceramic's cold. Then I put my butter in here, and it stays on the counter.
I love that. That makes it great for everything. So I got a towel here that has no dyes or decorations. I'm going to try and give this a good little squeeze. And I love that you said we could even rinse it in water. So y'all, we've made homemade butter.
Cold water.
Cold water. All right, let's see what I get out of squeezing this. So we got a little bit in there, but I'm going to, it just seems so weird, but it's coming through.
Now don't squeeze it to the point that the butter comes through the fabric.
Okay. No, I just see a little bit of liquid, but it's getting sopped up there.
You started about the same time I did, so you're probably at about the same point.
Okay.
Let me step away for a second.
Butter is coming together, Mona. You're right. All right. So we got some buttermilk that we can use for tea or whatever. And then we have our butter that we made from heavy whipping cream. Richard's got a butter bell. I actually have, I got this on Amazon, a little butter container. So.
Look here.
All right. Oh. I need a cutting board. Are you going to tape it or what are we doing?
You can do that, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add what I want to put in my butter if I want it to be salted or seasoned.
Okay.
If you want to add salt to it, add some, peak Himalayan salt. If you don't want to add any salt to it, don't add any salt to it. If you don't want to add anything to it, and it's strictly going to be something that you add for the fat value in cooking, just do that. What I was going to say earlier, and I didn't want to get ahead of myself, is Peppered Chef has a wonderful, we call them our pantry products. I have made butter and put our garlic Parmesan seasoning in it. Oh, I forgot you got that, didn't you?
Yes, sir, I did. I've got garlic Parmesan.
Have you tried, side note, have you tried that on popcorn?
I don't even think I've opened it yet.
Well, no, you have not opened that.
Should I make a garlic Parmesan butter?
You can. I have rosemary herbs I sometimes do.
Ooh.
And I also do our all-purpose deal. I did this one last week. It was really, really good.
Y'all, I made butter. Look at that. This looks like, you know, when you go to Outback Steakhouse and they give you the wheat bread on the little thing. Okay, they don't give you this much butter, but that's what my butter looks like. Y'all, look at this. I am so proud of myself. Look at this.
I will be a guilty person and tell you that every time I go there, I eat about that much butter.
Oh my goodness. Let me see what else I got in here from Pampered Chef. Okay. I ordered a few last time I ordered. Yeah, I don't think any of these would work. We got the South Carolina style barbecue. No. Everything but the pizza. No. And salt and vinegar. So I think I'm going to make a garlic Parmesan Pampered Chef butter. So what did you put in yours?
I haven't put anything yet. I hadn't decided if I was going to put anything. I may just put some Himalayan salt.
Okay, let's see what I have. I have regular salt, and I have some kosher salt, and I have some sea salt, and I have some black salt.
Black salt?
Yeah. So I have some black salt. This came from Hawaii because this is Honolulu, Hawaiian, because their soil is the, what come from a volcano? The lava.
So and I'm not anti-salt per se, okay. Because look, I'm gonna make it funny. I can't. I'm not anti-salt.
You got Himalayan salt for real. I don't have Himalayan. I have Hawaiian Kona sea salt. This is a flaky salt. I've got kosher salt, and I've got just regular salt. I'm almost thinking I should make that garlic Parmesan butter. Do
it. You will love it because it's really good. I may even add that to this because I put some pink Himalayan salt in this.
Okay. Okay. So if I do the garlic Parmesan, do I need salt too? Do what?
People turn in probably think we're making icing. Yes, we've got butter on a cutting board right now.
Okay. So let me see what you do. You're flattening it out, kind of folding it.
Just like you would do like dough. Just flatten it out, put your product on there, and then just blend it in.
Okay. I don't know how much to put on here.
You can taste it.
Okay. So
mix that in and taste it and see if it's, you know, that it's your kitchen.
You're right. Okay. Let's mix it in here like dough. So he said, fold it over together.
Look, and you know what? If you think about it, would you ever guess that was in that carton of milk?
No. Oh my gosh, look. Like Dairy Queen when they hold the lizard upside down. Thank you, Mona. She says it's coming together looking good. I'm gonna give it a taste. Let's see if it tastes like garlic Parmesan. Now, I won't use this in my coffee. I'll use this for cooking since it's more savory. Ooh.
I wish we had taste-o-vision because mine's delicious.
Yes, it does smell good. I mean, it does taste good. And I love the garlic. I think I'm going to put a little bit of salt in there and then a little more garlic.
And that's the thing about salt, because a lot of people say, oh, I don't do salt. Even if you're doing a sweet recipe, this fraction bit of salt will make the flavor pop.
It sure does. At that chocolate making class, we put sea salt on our chocolates, and it just, if you've ever had a salted caramel anything,
oh my goodness,
Okay, so we're gonna go in with some more garlic parmesan butter, homemade. Y'all, look how simple this is. If you want to make gifts for teachers, if you want to do a gift exchange in the neighborhood, all you need is heavy whipping cream and in a mixer or a jar and a marble, and you could make something that you could put in a nice little, bag or something and give.
And I'll add to that. If you do it as a gift, refrigerate it.
Okay.
Because you never know how long a teacher's going to be at school. Yada yada yada. Refrigerate it.
That's a great point. Okay.
Don't be one of these poisoning your kids' teachers.
Exactly. I think I probably will refrigerate mine, but I love what you said about being able. Maybe I'll keep it, cut it in half, and see. All right, so you all can see our butter.
So, I'm slinging butter still.
You're slinging butter.
Still slinging butter.
Let me give it another little taste. Everybody's like they're loving this. Y'all could do this with the kids. Literally, I think we were talking for maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, and just keep an eye on it. It's going to go from heavy whipping cream to frothy whipped cream to then butter and buttermilk. And look at all this buttermilk that we got out of here. We could use in everything. Christina says it looks good. Look at Richard over there eating it up. Let me see.
Oh my
Let
God.
me taste a little more. It is so good. I want a little more Parmesan.
Isn't it
I'm
amazing?
going heavy. Yes.
I've got a little bit left over. I should put this on a piece of bread.
I know. I was thinking about that. I should have some toast. Y'all, I'll put some more garlic Parmesan on here. Richard is licking it up. He sure is. All right. I cannot believe how easy this was. What else do you have on your channel? I know you've made mayonnaise and just a lot of stuff we spend on.
I've made mayonnaise. I was trying to think. I've been wanting to make mustard because it's been years since I made mustard.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you right now, I will not make ketchup because it costs a fortune to make like this much ketchup. Because it takes so many tomatoes to make a jar of ketchup.
Okay.
I'll just continue to buy it. It's cheaper. I've done cocktail sauce.
Ooh.
Yeah. Easy things. It's so funny if the condiments that you buy, you spend money on. Because, come to think of it, how much have you bought butter lately? How much butter costs?
Buttermilk is so expensive. Look at all this buttermilk that we could have just thrown away after whipping this up. Now we've got buttermilk. If I was a baker or pancakes or anything, like you said, anything you would use milk for in a recipe, use this buttermilk that you just made. I am going to make some tea because I had a little bit extra that I squeezed off, and we are going to have some tea. Or could you use buttermilk as a coffee creamer?
You know what? You can always try. I don't know why not.
Uh-oh, now my light's going off. So we got a question from Tay. She says, Mr. Richard, what is your channel? I do have it in the description, but why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and your...
You can find me on Facebook, of course, but you can also find me on YouTube. Just put in Richard Boggs PC, and it'll take you to my channel. Join my channel. You're welcome to share my videos. I've got a butter making video on there, a simple butter making video like this, shorter, that you can share with your friends and say, look, we can make our own butter. Stop spending so much. Groceries are not cheap right now. So, put your money where your mouth is.
I love that. Yeah.
Literally.
Y'all check out Richard Boggs. You see his name on the screen there. That is his name on all of his socials. And you all know I cook live because I can't edit, but Richard has edited his videos down. They're really quick. You can follow him and please share because, look, we're all at different levels of cooking, and I am surprised how easy this came together. So I have a beautiful garlic. Look at Richard is licking it up. I have a beautiful garlic Parmesan butter. So did you put yours in your container? Let me go ahead and do mine, and I'm gonna put this away. I just bought this on Amazon. It comes with a little spreading knife. So
And
I'm just
I
gonna
will
put
fill this
this.
up with water and then just immerse this into that water, and you can keep it on your countertop. Now, how many times have you gone to eat a piece of toast and you're running late for work? You just have to have something in your belly. So you think, I'll have one piece of toast, and your butter is in the refrigerator as hard as this countertop.
I know.
And then you put it in the microwave and it turns into liquid chemicals.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
why not make your own butter? And you know, and also too, even though we don't sell these at Pampered Chef, these butter bells are super inexpensive and they're lovely.
No, this is great. This is absolutely wonderful. I mean, if you use butter to cook with, you know, like you said, the Trinity olive oil, butter, and onions, I almost feel like sauteing up some garlic, Parmesan, onions. You can put that on anything, make an omelet or whatever. But I started with one ingredient, and now I have a beautiful garlic, Parmesan, homemade butter. I'm just kind of spreading it out here. And buttermilk. This will cost you easy $4 or $5, and I'm gonna make some tea or coffee. Let me do that. Let me brew some coffee and see.
Your particular recipe would be good in making pasta.
Ooh, yes.
Alfredo pasta, put that in it.
Yes, and we just made those zoodles, those fresh zoodles, and you could toss like your linguine, or if you're doing zucchini or whatever, in some garlic butter. Mona says I spend $12 on Kerrygold butter at Sam's Club every week. The large carton of heavy whipping cream is under $5. I need to make butter. Yes. Christina's saying honey butter.
Mona, step back, because you can do 3 times the amount of butter.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. All right. I'm gonna run some coffee in the Keurig, and we're gonna put some buttermilk in there and just see what that tastes like as a creamer. Christina's talking about honey butter. I'm interested in that. How would you make this a honey butter instead of
exactly the same way? Exactly the same way. You could, if you were doing, you could do brown sugar. You could do honey if you're using real organic honey. Be careful. This is a side note. Be careful where you buy your honey. I bought some local honey recently, and it said it was local honey. I got it home, and I was tasting it, and I could taste it because I know my kitchen. I could taste that they had cut that honey with syrup.
Uh-oh.
So be very conscious of where you buy all your products. Even if you go to a farmer's market, ask them where it's raised or where it's farmed. And if the farmer actually farmed it themselves, or they bought it wholesale and just divided it up and selling it to at the farmer's market. Be smart where you spend your money, and also to be smart where you spend your money where it's taken in your body and it can affect your health. I will share something. I'll share something, a doctor's story with myself. I had gone in a couple of years ago for a physical, and my triglycerides, just like my father, my triglycerides run elevated, not high, just elevated. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have high cholesterol, all that stuff. So the doctor said to me straight up, because my doctor leans towards being as healthy organically as you possibly can, and he's the one that called me Laura Ingalls. He said, I'm not going to worry about your triglycerides because they're not super, super elevated. He said, I know how you cook because I see your videos. He said, I'm not going to ask you to stop eating butter. I'm not going to ask you to stop eating olive oil, because he said all that stuff is actually good for you. And there are a lot of doctors who won't say that because they would rather give you a pill. I'm going to just say right now, they'd rather give you a pill than to say, change your diet or do this or do that and eat healthier. And healthier starts with knowing what you're bringing to your kitchen.
That is so true. Healthier, and Red Bunny says great savings. I mean, y'all saw we just made this, and then what other seasonings that you have in your pantry if you wanted to make a little bit of a spicy butter? I'm making it up. Maybe a little cayenne. Right. You want to make a sweet butter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what I do a lot of times is I'll take my hot skillet. I'm preparing to cook. I'll throw some butter and my olive oil into my skillet. I know my good olive oil is good for me. I know my good homemade butter is good for me. So I'm starting out my dish already being conscious of what I'm putting in my body.
I love that. We have a question from Natay on Facebook. Y'all ask your questions because we're wrapping up. We have made butter. She's asking about the buttermilk. She says, can you marinate chicken in the buttermilk before you fry
certainly. You can also do, okay, I'm a Southern boy at heart, really, even though I'm from the Midwest.
it? We can't tell.
You can take this and marinate overnight your chicken liver. I love chicken liver because the enzymes will break the chicken liver down, and your chicken liver, or even if you wanted to do gizzards, will be extremely tender. I actually learned that from a chef in Atlanta. Are you having church back there, Maggie? I love chicken liver.
I am going to do that. Oh my goodness.
Now, my husband doesn't like chicken liver, but I love chicken liver.
Well, you know, you can't win them all. How about that?
Exactly. Just more chicken liver for me to eat. And you know, the funny thing about that, people go, ooh, gross, chicken liver. Side note, animals, like when a wolf or a dog in the wild actually kills an animal, the liver and the heart is the first thing they go for. They don't go for the breast meat. They go for the liver and the heart because they're higher in minerals and nutrients.
Yeah,
you know,
some people eat the organ meats. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to try. I've got a little bit of buttermilk in here for my extra squeezing. I'm going to pour my coffee in here.
Nice. Oh, it looks beautiful already.
I know. And I'm going to, y'all know me and the skinny syrup. So if you drink it straight, that's fine. I'm going to put a little bit of my skinny syrup. Don't come at me for the artificial.
I would thank you. You got me, Maggie, you got me into getting those. I was watching one of your videos one night. I was like, oh, I haven't heard of these. I went to the store and just started buying them.
So I'm going to put a little bit of mocha skinny syrups in here, but y'all can see that color, and that's just from the buttermilk. I'm going to give this a little stir, and I'm going to taste this and see if I made coffee creamer for making butter. Oh, boy. Ooh, it's so good, and it's smooth. God, y'all, I have creamer. Now, for me, I know I can't do this often because the dairy, but you said, you know, the dairy in the butter is different from the dairy in the buttermilk. But you all, this is incredible. I am so excited.
Now, if you had made honey, if you'd made honey butter, you could have put a little bit of honey butter in your coffee or in your tea. Bam! There's your free part.
Well, I had so much fun here. Yes, thank you so much. Richard has taught us how to make butter, so I have now homemade butter. I'm gonna put it on the counter, and fingers crossed, I got all my liquid out, so I'll be using that. We made our own butter. Now I have buttermilk. I'm gonna thaw out these livers.
I want to say your butter in that particular type of dish should go in the refrigerator because it's not submerged in the water.
But that is a great use. I mean, for those of you all who buy heavy whipping cream, if you just use a little bit in a recipe and you've got a container, there was no measuring here. Just pour the whole thing, and whatever you have for heavy whipping cream, it'll separate out into buttermilk, which you can use for cooking, you can use for coffee, you can use in baking. And then we made butter, y'all. We made butter. I'm so excited. Richard, thank you so much for coming and teaching. I learned something. I did something for the first time. Again, you all can find Richard on all of his socials, Facebook, Instagram. You see his Cash App along the bottom. His Pampered Chef is in the description. I am going to order the coated knives because I'm always chopping it up in the kitchen as well. But any final words, anything you want to send us off with?
You know what I like, and because we've known each other so long, you've eaten dinner in my house, and we even went to church together for a number of years. What I love is what you practice is it's about relationships. Cooking in the kitchen is really about cooking for the people that you love in your house or taking a gift to someone. And that's also too one reason why I connected so well with Pampered Chef is because it's not about selling a product, it's about building relationships. It's
Absolutely.
amazing. A lot of my faithful Pampered Chef customers are people I've known since before I went to before I went to grade school.
Oh, wow.
And so it's about relationships. And the older we get, and we're only 29, it's life is, we won't even be taking this, even though I love this blender or this mixer with me. The only
Mhm.
thing that we take with us are experiences. When we're laying on our last breath, it's the only thing we're going to remember are the relationships and the experiences we have in life. And that's what I commend you because it's about relationships and you have relationships with the people who watch. And I always love, I even check in periodically with you. You always give me a shout out. It's about relationships. I mean, if we didn't have a relationship that was 25 years long, we wouldn't be here teaching people how to make butter. And that's how important relationships really are.
Absolutely. And that's what we do here. Like I always say, we are happy, wholesome, and family friendly. And eating is something that we all do in our community that brings us together. And that's something that we all have in common. And I love Pampered Chef. I've ordered from you. Y'all know I've got this cutting board. I've got some knives. I got some stuff that you said not even in the catalog anymore. Speaking of the catalog, Natea is saying, how do I order from you, Mr. Richard? So where can they
You know,
find you?
she can visit the website that you've attached. That goes directly
Mhm.
to my website. If she wants to drop me an email at richard@richardboggs.com, I
Mhm.
can send her an electronic catalog so she can actually
Mhm.
look at the catalog on her tablet or phone or computer, whatever she wants.
Okay, perfect. And I think I've got it in the link that you sent me. So I'm gonna try and it's in the description. So those of y'all that are watching now, just open up the description. Okay, battery's dead.
And
Mona, if you can grab.
even if somebody wants to do a party, we don't even do I won't say we don't do, but I don't do in-person parties anymore because people don't have the time for it or the space or the bandwidth for it. We can do a party virtually. We can do it live like this. We can do it. I do a lot of them on Facebook groups. So if you're interested in a party and maybe getting this into your kitchen at a discounted price by being a host, just hit me up. We'll work it out.
Absolutely. Yes. You all please check him out. Mona, if you are able to get Richard's link from the description, please drop it in the chat on YouTube. And if you're also on Facebook, if you could drop it in the comments. But this was so much fun. I've learned
It was.
something. We made something that we can use. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. Let me know if you want us to do more. Please check out Richard. All of his socials are listed below. Check out his videos. See if there's anything that you all want me to be the guinea pig and try it out first. And then we'll come back and do more because we're going to be eating, right?
Uh, and you know
All the
what?
time.
Thank you very much for inviting me to share this platform with you and come into your home. I come to Atlanta every 5 weeks anyway, so who knows?
Ah,
Maybe our viewers between your platform and my platform would say, you all come together and do something together. We'd have it. I don't know, we get anything done because we may laugh a lot.
laugh a lot and taste a lot, but I'm here for it. Y'all know I stream every day. If you're new to me, I'm Maggie, the substitute teacher, usually sugar-free, dairy-free, and gluten-free, but I had to make this full dairy butter and we are going to use it because I always say it's not what you eat some of the time, it's what you eat all of the time. So hopefully this helped you guys. And I have a feeling you will see us again. Please support Richard, but we're going to go ahead and dismiss and let you all have your evening. Thank you all so much for being here. Please check out Richard Boggs on all socials. And if you want anything Pampered Chef, please check him out. All right. Thank you all so much. Instagram, I'm going to go
See you in
ahead
the kitchen.
and dismiss. Yeah, see y'all in the kitchen by Instagram, TikTok. Thank you all so much for being here, for the hearts and the shares. Please check out Richard and he will see you in the kitchen. Thank you all so much. And then Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Richard's channels that we're streaming simultaneously. Thank you all so much for being here. We'll see you on the next class, and Richard will see you in